And what's the very first thing you do? You're checking email. You are doom scrolling Instagram. Your cortisol spiking. Your brain is in reactive mode. I know this routine because I did it for years. I'm a surgeon. I run a business. I have 3 kids. I do not have time for a 2-hour spa morning. But as an ophthalmologist, I know the truth. Your eyes are actually part of your brain. I'm talking about leveraging the hardware you were already born with, specifically your eyes. They are the control center for your energy. I was also biologically out of sync. I was starving my brain of the one signal it needed to wake up: light. Let's talk about your morning. The alarm goes off at 6 a.m. or maybe 5:30. You roll over, one eye's half open. It feels gritty. It feels dry. And what's the very first thing you do? You reach for your phone on the nightstand. The screen lights up in the dark room. It blasts your retinas with blue light. And immediately, you're checking email. You are doom scrolling Instagram. You are looking at a text from your teenager that was sent at 10 p.m. last night, but you were already asleep. Or in my case, since I am 5 to 6 hours behind the East Coast, I'm answering all the messages that got sent in the morning before I was awake. So before you have your feet even touching the floor, your cortisol spiking. Your brain is in reactive mode, and you're already exhausted. I know this routine because I did it for years. We are told that to have a good morning, we need to meditate for 30 minutes or journal our gratitude or drink a green juice, which I've never drunk. I'm a surgeon. I run a business. I have 3 kids. I do not have time for a 2-hour spa morning, and I'm sure you don't either. But I do have time for biology. So today I'm teaching you my visual anchor routine. It's not about self-care, though ultimately it is, but it really is about systemizing your biology. We're going to use light, water, and dopamine to hack your energy levels for the entire day. And the best part, it starts with your eyes. So let's dive in. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Rupa Wong, board-certified ophthalmologist and mom of 3. Welcome to In Focus, where we combine medical precision with practical strategies. We talk about vision, we talk about systems, and we talk about modern parenting. I want to start off by debunking a myth. If you go on social media, you see these that girl morning routines. Somehow my daughter watches them, even though she doesn't have social media. She watches them on her friends' phones. It's got aesthetic coffee. It has yoga on the beach. I guess I live close to a beach. I could do it. Silence. That's not reality for most of us. My reality is making sure that my 14-year-old is up, finding the exact water bottle they want to use for the day, drying their PE uniforms in 20 minutes so they can pack them to school, getting to the OR on time. So when I talk about biohacking your morning, I'm not talking about adding more tasks to your list. I'm talking about leveraging the hardware you were already born with, specifically your eyes. Most people think the eyes are just cameras. They are just there to help you see the coffee pot or, the phone. But as an ophthalmologist, I know the truth. Your eyes are actually part of your brain. They are the only part of the central nervous system that sits outside the cranium, which is the bony part of your skull. And they are the control center for your energy. For a long time, I ignored this. I would wake up groggy. I would drink 3 cups of coffee to force myself awake. And by 2 p.m., I would totally crash. And I thought I was just tired or just getting older, hitting that perimenopause age, which is part of it, but it wasn't all of it. I was also biologically out of sync. I was starving my brain of the one signal it needed to wake up: light. So here's why this is important. Deep inside your brain, there is a tiny cluster of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or the SCN. This is your master clock. It controls every hormone in your body: your metabolism, your mood, your sleep drive. But here's the catch. The SCN is blind. It's sitting in the dark inside your skull. It needs a signal to know what time it is. And that signal comes exclusively through your eyes, specifically through the very special cells that are called melanopsin ganglion cells. These are some of the oldest cells in your body. And when sunlight hits these cells, they send a direct signal to the master clock. And then they trigger 3 critical things: One, they shut off melatonin, the sleep hormone. Second, they trigger a healthy spike of cortisol. Now, we usually think cortisol is bad, but in the morning, you want it. It's nature's caffeine. It alerts your immune system and your brain to wake up. Third, they start a timer for sleep tonight. So, getting light in your eyes at 7 a.m. is what helps you fall asleep at 10 p.m. But here's where many of us mess it up. We wake up in a dark room. We look at a dim phone screen. We drink coffee in a dim kitchen. Then we get in a car with tinted windows and we go to an office with fluorescent lights. And all of this is worse in the winter months. I remember living in Boston 18 years ago, and I would leave work before the sun rose, and I would come home after the sun set, which wasn't that hard because the sun set at 3 p.m. back in Boston. But this is honestly one of the main reasons we moved back to Hawaii. My husband could not take living in biological darkness. It wasn't just about missing the beach, it was physiological. We felt sluggish. We craved carbs. Our moods were flat. And in medicine, we call this seasonal affective disorder or SAD. But even if you don't have that very clinical diagnosis where you have to meet all those criteria to get that diagnosis, there are millions of people that suffer from the winter blues. And it really is directly tied to your eyes. When you don't get that morning light signal, your cortisol doesn't spike in the morning, it drags. So you feel tired until noon. And then, because your rhythm is off, your cortisol spikes at 10 p.m., right when you want to sleep. So you're tired and you're wired. And when I was living in Boston, I really learned that light isn't a luxury, it's a nutrient. And most of us are kind of malnourished for it. And when this happens, your brain never gets the on signal. So it's running in low power mode all day. So here's the visual anchor routine. It has 3 steps. Step number 1, first light. So before you look at your screen, before you check email, I want you to get outside. I don't care if you're in Hawaii like me or in Seattle in the rain, you need natural photons hitting your retina. Open a window, step out onto the porch, walk the dog, find out what time the sun actually rises wherever you are. And here's the rule: no sunglasses, no windows. Most of window glass actually blocks the specific wavelengths of blue light that can trigger the SCN. I know the windows we have here, they're low E, so we want them to block a lot of UV light. But for this, we need direct outdoor light. So I do this for 10 minutes while I drink my coffee. Again, it's easier for me because I live in Oahu. I stand outside on my lanai or I walk the dog around the block, even on a cloudy day. The light intensity outside is 10 times brighter than your kitchen lights. So this one habit that I really dedicated to changing in the last year, this has changed my energy more than any other supplement. It's like flipping the main breaker switch for your house. Suddenly, the systems all come online. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dr. Rupa, I wake up at 5 a.m., it's pitch black, or I live in Minnesota and it's 20 below zero. I hear you. And if you can't get outside, then you need to fake it. You need to get one of the seasonal affective disorder lamps. There's a bunch of them even available on Amazon. You need to make sure, though, it's not just any lamp. You need one that's rated for 10,000 lux. Lux is the measurement of light intensity. Your kitchen lights, they're probably about 500 lux. A cloudy day outside is 10,000 lux. A sunny day can be anywhere from 30 to 100,000 lux. So your brain needs that intensity. So if it's dark, turn on a bright light panel. Put it on your desk while you check your emails. Do not look directly at it. Just have it in your peripheral vision. You want to fake the sun until the real sun comes up. And for my moms of teens, I make them do this too. It's a recommendation for the kids that live on the mainland, especially on school days. Getting them outside, waiting for the bus, or eating breakfast on the patio, it's going to help reset their teenage circadian rhythms, which are naturally delayed. And I do want to give teens some grace here. They are not lazy. Their biology is shifting. My boys could literally sleep until 11 a.m. or noon right now. They're 14 and 16 because during puberty, their circadian clocks shift forward by about 2 hours. They naturally want to stay up later and they want to sleep later. But if they need to be in school by 7:30 a.m., that's a problem because they're living in a state of permanent jet lag. So morning light's going to be the only way to anchor them. It's going to pull their clock back. It's going to help them fall asleep earlier at night. So when I nag my kids to open the blinds or I do it for them to get them up in the morning, especially my middle son, it's not about aesthetics. It's about helping them function. And then step two, it's a hydration hack. So let's go back to that feeling of waking up with gritty eyes. A lot of people think that they have dry eye disease, and usually that's absolutely can be true. If you're scrolling on your phones late at night, certainly exacerbates it. But it could also be that you're dehydrated. You haven't drunk water for 8 hours. You've been breathing out moisture all night. Remember, your tear film is mostly water. So even though it might not be a huge component, when you are dehydrated, the tears are going to become salty and they're going to become thick and they're going to cause friction. So in ophthalmology, we call this hyperosmolarity. There's a test that we can actually do for it in the clinic. We check the osmolarity of the tear film. So imagine the ocean. If the water evaporates, the salt concentration is going to get higher, and that's going to be what's happening to your tears at night. So that gritty feeling, that's literally salt irritation on the surface of your cornea. Your eye drops, can help like artificial tears, but they're kind of a band-aid. So if you want to really fix this system instead of just treating it, I want you to try this hack. So before coffee, before food, try to drink at least 8 to 16 ounces of water. This is hard for me. I hate drinking water, but I do keep a bottle on my nightstand. I will sit up, I will drink it, and it's like lubricating your engine before you have to rev it. Not only does it clear up your vision, it should just wake up your brain and your cognition. So even a 2% drop in hydration theoretically can cause brain fog. So if you want to focus, you want to start with fluids. This one's a tough one. Like I said, I like to go straight for the coffee, and my kidneys know that. So 3, for some people, this is the hardest one, and it's something I talk a lot about, the phone foyer. I told you earlier about how I've failed before. I've woken up and I immediately start scrolling, answering text messages from the mainland. This is bad. It's not just about wasted time. It's about the dopamine. Because when you open your phone first thing in the morning or Instagram, you're flooding your brain with cheap dopamine and you're training your brain to be distracted. You're putting yourself in reactive mode. You are reacting to other people's lives or to their text messages or other people's emergencies, other people's agendas. You haven't even checked in with yourself yet. So I created a system. And this is where I often falter. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm truly endeavoring for my phone to not sleep next to my head. It should sleep in the charging station, in your kitchen, or in your bathroom. You could even have it charging in the hallway right outside of your bedroom, but something to make you physically get up. So I don't unlock my phone until I've had my first light. So this creates that buffer. It protects my attention span. It allows me to start the day proactive instead of reactive. And I know because I hear these excuses from my kids, oh, but Dr. Rupa, I use my phone for my alarm. I bought like this very cute wooden aesthetic alarm from Amazon to use instead. And if it's a true emergency, someone knows to call twice, especially my parents on the mainland. And that's going to bypass the do not disturb. The scroll is stealing your morning, so you want to take it back. So let's recap the visual anchor routine. It's simple, it's free, and it's based on biology. 1, hydrate first. If you can, 16 ounces of water before your feet even hit the floor. 2, first light. Get outside for 10 minutes, no sunglasses. Tell your brain it is time to perform. If you can't get outside, get a 10,000 lux lamp. And 3, delay the scroll. No phone until you have seen the sun. When you do this, you aren't just waking up, you are optimizing your system. You will feel sharper in your morning meetings. You will be less irritable with your kids. I will tell you that part's really true. And you will sleep better tonight. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, try it. Just once. Skip the scroll, drink the water, step outside, and see how different 10 o'clock a.m. feels, and see how different 10 o'clock p.m. feels. Thanks so much for joining me on In Focus. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend. Leave a review or subscribe so you don't miss future conversations. For more trusted guidance on your child's eye health, screen time, and raising healthy kids in a digital world, you can follow me on Instagram or on TikTok at Dr. Rupa Wong or visit drrupawong.com. Until next time, keep caring for your family's eyes, their minds, and what matters most.